often to feed guppies? Guppies are one of the most popular fish in the aquarium hobby. They are especially appreciated for their brightly colored and patterned bodies. Guppies are also very hardy and adapt to almost any kind of living condition. For this reason, they are a good choice for beginner fish keepers. However, there is one thing that can cause trouble for your guppies, and that is poor nutrition. The best way to feed your guppies so that they stay happy and healthy is to give them a varied diet of vegetables along with their regular fish food. In this video, I will help you figure out how often to feed your guppies, how much food you should give them, and what are the best options when it comes to guppy food. Feeding adult guppies. There are many different opinions on how much to feed adult guppies. Some suggest feeding them only once a day, some suggest twice a day, and others say 3 times a day. The truth is that the more you feed your guppies, the more you increase the chances of them developing health problems. I recommend feeding adult guppies only once every day or every other day. This does not mean that if your guppies have not been fed for 2 days that you should feed them twice as much as normal on the 3rd day. If you do this, you will be overfeeding your fish. If you have been feeding your adult guppies twice a day, and they haven't developed any health problems, then by all means continue to do so. It is very important to use good quality food when feeding your adult guppies. Good quality food will contain all of the nutrients needed for optimal growth and health in your fish. Bad quality food does not contain all of the nutrients needed for the proper growth and development of your fish, thus it may shorten its lifespan and increases the likelihood of it developing health problems. Feeding baby guppies. You should start feeding baby guppies as soon as they are born. Feeding baby guppies is very easy since they just eat anything that floats past them. They will even eat their own uneaten fish flakes if you don't remove it from the aquarium after feeding them. You can start out by feeding your guppies newly hatched brine shrimp, but it is best to switch to high-quality flake food once they get a little older. Feed your baby guppies 3 to 4 times per day until they reach about 1 month old, then reduce the number of times per day that you feed them to 2 to 3 times per day, and continue to do this until they reach 3 months old. After 3 months old, you can reduce the amount of food that you give your adult guppies to only once every other day or every 3rd day, depending on how much they are eating. Once your guppies are about a month old, you can start feeding them newly hatched brine shrimp, or another quality food for baby guppies, the same quality as you would feed to your adult guppies. You can also feed them spirulina algae flakes. Spirulina algae flakes are a great food for your baby guppies since it gives them good nutrition without filling up their stomachs and making them fat. When feeding your baby guppies, never overfeed them. Overfeeding will cause your baby fish to develop swim bladder problems, which can be fatal. Feeding the right amount of food is important because if they eat too much, it will cause them to swim in the surface of the water, and they are more likely to develop swim bladder problems. If they don't eat enough, then they won't develop properly and won't grow into healthy adult fish. Best food for guppies. Guppies are very easy to feed. They are omnivorous, meaning they will eat both animal and plant matter, which makes it hard to go wrong with what food you choose to feed them. However, there are a few things to keep in mind when feeding them. When feeding guppies, you should avoid foods with high amounts of protein like beef heart or krill. These foods contain a lot of protein, but not much fat, which can lead to nutritional deficiency and other health problems. In addition, these foods may also cause digestive problems for your fish. It's best to stick with something like bloodworms or brine shrimp for their main diet. These foods have plenty of fat as well as other nutrients that your mollies will enjoy eating. If you're interested in buying frozen food for your guppies, it's best to stick with brands made specifically for aquarium fish. These tend to be of better quality than the types of frozen food used for people like canned sardines or tuna. You can also try dry foods like flakes or pellets that you can purchase at the pet store. The brands I recommend offer high-quality food if you want something easy and healthy for your fish to eat that won't break the bank either. Feeding Soilent green algae guppies. Some people like to feed their baby guppies Soilent green algae, which is a gel food specifically made for African cichlids. This food, however, is excellent for guppy fry since it contains all of the nutrients needed for them to develop healthy and strong. Soilent green algae contain a lot of protein, which makes it perfect for feeding your young fish. If you decide to feed your baby guppies Soilent green algae, then you should do so as soon as they are born, and keep them on this food until they are about 3 months old. After that, you can switch them to regular Flake Food, but continue to give them Soilent green algae once in a while if you want to. Most people will continue to feed their adult fish with just regular Flake Food, but I personally like to keep my adults on Soilent green algae or spirulina flakes occasionally just for a change in diet. It is great to be able to offer your fish different foods, which can also help prevent the development of nutritional deficiencies. Feeding vegetables to guppies fish. Guppies, like all other fish, need a source of fiber in their diet in order to stay healthy and happy. Guppies can get this fiber either from fresh vegetables or from dried flakes or pellets made specifically for fiber enrichment, often called vegetable flakes or vegetable pellets. If you decide to use pellets, be sure that they have added vitamins like vitamin C and vitamin E, because these vitamins will be lost if the pellets aren't stored properly after opening. Goldfish also eat vegetables, so you can use goldfish food as a source of vegetable food for your guppies. When feeding vegetables to your guppies, make sure you remove any uneaten veggies from the tank after about an hour or so, because decomposing vegetables will make your water quality go down quickly if left in the tank too long. As mentioned before, vegetables are a good source of vitamins and fiber for your guppies. For example, cucumber is high in B vitamins and vitamin C. You can feed cucumber to your guppies by cutting it into pieces with a knife, or by feeding it through an aquarium veggie clip. The best part about feeding vegetables to guppies is that the whole family can eat them too. How long can guppies go without food? Guppies are surprisingly good at going without food for quite a while. In one test, guppies went for 9 days without food, and were still in good health. However, you should be aware that this is not necessarily a guideline for how long guppies can go without food. Just because they can survive for a long time with no food does not mean that you should deprive them of their meals on a regular basis. Guppies are very active fish and need lots of nutrients to keep them going strong. Depriving them of food will only make it harder on your guppy and you. What should guppies eat? When it comes to food, guppy owners have a ton of options. You can feed them live food, pellets, flakes, and more. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to what to feed your fish, but it's always important to make sure that the food you choose is high quality. Guppies need plenty of nutrients and variety to stay healthy, so don't skimp on their diets. If you want your fish to have a long, happy life with you, you need to give him some good food. Here are some different types of food that are good for guppies. Frozen shrimp. Many people feed their guppies frozen shrimp. It's a great source of protein for your fish, and it's very easy to get your hands on. Plus, frozen shrimp is incredibly cheap, which is always a plus. Bloodworms. Bloodworms are another popular option for feeding guppies. They're easy to get and inexpensive, but they can be hard to find, so you may want to buy them online. Some pet stores don't carry them at all. Again, they have high protein content, which makes them great for guppies. Also, bloodworms are loaded with nutrients like vitamin B12, which helps to fight off disease in your fish. Shrimp pellets. Pellets are another good option for feeding your guppies. They're easy to store and transport, and you can find them at most pet stores. However, they can be a little harder to find than frozen shrimp and bloodworms. It can definitely be worth the hunt though. Flake food. If you're looking for something that is easy on the wallet, then Flake Food may be the way to go. All you need is a little bit of fish food flakes in your tank every day, and your fish will be good to go. You can even use frozen or live food with Flake Food, so it's an incredibly versatile option for guppy owners. What are the benefits of feeding guppies live food? Feeding live food does have its benefits if that's what you want to do. Live food is usually higher in protein than other types of fish food, which makes it great for guppies who are looking for more nutrients in their diet. You also don't have to worry about your fish not liking live food since it's still alive when he eats it. This is also a great choice if you have picky eaters in your tank. Live food is something that most fish will eat eagerly, so you can keep feeding them even if they are being finicky. There are some downsides to using live food though. Guppies like to eat their food fast, which can be dangerous with live food. If you're using live feeders, you should make sure that they aren't getting too much of the food and eating too fast. You don't want them to get constipated or eat so much that their stomachs bloat. Also, live food can be hard for guppies to digest and could cause them some serious problems if they don't have anything else in their diet. That being said, if your guppies are used to eating live food, then this shouldn't be an issue for most of them. What are the benefits of feeding guppies pellets? Pellets have lots of benefits as well. They are easy and inexpensive, which makes it easier on your pocketbook, and they're easy to store, which makes it easier for you. However, the main benefit that pellet offers over other types of feeder fish foods is that pellets contain all the nutrition that a guppy needs in one convenient little package. They're easy to digest and contain all the right nutrients to keep your fish happy and healthy. However, pellets do have a few downsides too. They can be hard to find in some pet stores, which means that you may need to order them online. They also aren't as high in protein as other types of food, which means that you may need to supplement them if your fish is looking for more nutrients in his diet. What are the benefits of feeding guppies bloodworms? Bloodworms have lots of benefits, just like pellets and live food. They're high in protein and very inexpensive. Plus, they're easy to store and transport, so it makes it easier on you, which is always a plus. However, bloodworms can be a little harder for guppies to digest than pellets or frozen shrimp, which is something that you should keep in mind when choosing what types of food are best for your fish. If your guppies are having issues with digestion or constipation, then bloodworms might not be the best option for them. Do male or female guppies eat more? Female guppies are usually larger than their male counterparts. This means that they eat more, but as long as you're feeding your fish the right amounts, then this shouldn't be a problem. There are some signs to watch out for though if you think your fish may be eating too much or not enough. If your fish is getting fat, then it's possible that he's eating more than he needs. If your fish is looking very thin, it might be time to increase his food supply. Conclusion: many people have trouble with how much food they should give their guppies every day. The general rule of thumb is that you should feed your guppies 2 times a day, with about 1/8 of their body weight each time. If you have a large community tank with several guppies in it, then you will need to reduce the amount of food you give them so that they all get a fair share. It's best not to overfeed your guppies, because this can lead to serious health problems like constipation and bloat. You also don't want them going hungry either, since it can drastically shorten their lifespan. Aim for somewhere in between when deciding how to feed your guppies. If you have any questions regarding guppy feeding, please leave a comment below, and I would be happy to answer them.